700 feet deep. But today, the crater is only 550 feet deep as it slowly fills up with sediment over time. Eventually, the crater will fill up entirely, causing it to be completely erased from the surface of the Earth. Now, this erosional process will eventually fill the crater up entirely, causing it to be completely erased from the surface of the Earth. Now, this erosional process acts on all craters that form on Earth, which is why we're not completely covered in craters like the Moon is, for example. Because the Earth got hit just as many times as the Moon did, if not more, in the past. Now, 90% of this asteroid was completely vaporized on impact, so there isn't any large object that remains of the asteroid buried beneath the crater. But 10% of the asteroid did survive, and it was ejected out by the blast that formed the crater in millions of little fragments. These fragments go on to rain down on all the land surrounding the crater, and once they have settled on the surface, they're called meteorites. These meteorites range in size from small pebble-sized pieces to this one right here. Now, this is the Holsinger meteorite, and it is the largest fragment of the asteroid that formed the crater that's been found to date. And this is not a replica. This is a real meteorite. It is 92% iron and 7% nickel. Now, this was found by a man by the name of Samuel Holsinger, who, when he first came across this, most of it was buried underground. So only this much of it was exposed above the surface. So it was much like an iceberg, most of it underground or under the surface. When he found it, though, he thought he could just grab it and pick it up. But as you can imagine, that didn't go too well for him. It actually took 5 men and a mule all working together to finally pull it out of the ground. I think the mule did most of the work there. Now, do you guys want to take any guesses on how much this might weigh? You got a guess?
1,000 pounds.
1,000 pounds. That's a great guess, yeah. And did you have a guess too? I thought I heard someone say
Yeah,
something.
1,500.
1,500. Also very good. Very close.
Three.
All right. But any other guesses though?
So 2,000.
A ton? And what, 2,000 you said?
2,000 pounds.
Man, you shouldn't change your guess because you were closer the first
Oh,
time.
it's the
actually
first time.
1,400 pounds.
Oh, 1,400.
Yeah, it's 1,406 pounds to be exact. Now, don't ask me how we got it in here. I have no idea. We probably just built a building around it or something. I don't know. But now Holsinger was friends with a man by the name of Daniel Beringer, who once he heard about this, about these meteorites and about this crater, he was very interested, as he was like, well, this sounds like this crater was formed by an asteroid impact. Well, at the time, everyone thought it was a volcanic feature. So Beringer wanted to come out here and mine this asteroid he believed was still buried beneath the crater for its iron and nickel. So he had gone to acquire the mining rights to the crater land that was approved by Teddy Roosevelt himself. Then he'd bring Holsinger out as a surveyor to see where the best place to begin mining would be. Find the best place to begin mining would be. And that's when Holsinger actually found this fragment. I said that in a slightly different order. I apologize. Now, Beringer would man out here for nearly 30 years, all in an effort to find this massive asteroid he believed was buried beneath the crater, but to no avail, as it was never there to begin with. All right. Do you guys have any questions about any of that?
Was there like a bunch of smaller pieces found, or?
Yep.
Yeah.
So many, in fact, we're selling them in the gift shop
Okay,
this
okay,
day.
okay.
This is just the biggest piece that's been found. Yeah. Not the only one. But yeah. Any other questions? Good. All right. Well, before we have
How many years ago that was?
Oh yes, of course. The crater was 50,000 years old. Formed about 50,000 years ago.
So that's how they find out.
How they find out the age?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is actually due to an uncommon process, or a method, I should say, of dating it. Now, the crater was dated using cosmic ray dating. So, basically how this works is there's a constant stream of cosmic rays from space. It's been constant throughout time, and rocks on the surface will have a constant expected amount of exposure as long as they've been there indefinitely, right? But if in the past they were buried underground or shielded or something by something on top of them, they'll get less exposure than expected. So if you have a rock sitting on the surface right now that has a much lower exposure than would be expected, that means it was shielded one way or another. This is mostly useful for Antarctica, for glacier movement. That's typically what shields these rocks, and you can see, oh, the glacier has moved this much in the past 500,000 years. But basically, the crater samples were taken from different locations around the crater at different depths, coming up with a rough estimate of 50,000 years of age. Because the rocks out here, just along the rim, are material that was once inside the crater and underground, so they're thrown up and out. And the rocks, the original surface that's buried underneath this ejected blanket, is now been shielded for the last 50,000 years. So yes, that gave that approximate age of 50,000 years. A little bit of an unusual process.
Thank you.
Of course, yeah, great question. Any others though? Yeah. Perfect. All right. Now, before we head outside, just want to say that I ask we stay on the trail at all times, as the path will be paved and the dirt off the path is very soft. So this will help preserve the crater in the long term, and it's just easier to walk on. Also, we have a little bit of wildlife that live in the region, consisting of birds, lizards, chipmunks, and snakes. Now, snakes, they like to live out in the debris field, all in the cover that's provided out there. So as long as we stay in the trail, we will stay out of their way, and they will stay out of our way. Now, if that's not a motivator to stay on the trail, I don't know what is. Also, do not take any souvenirs while we're outside as well. This also helps preserve the crater. I don't know if I said that part, I can't remember. But lastly, this is a committed tour. So what that means is when we head out this door here, we have to stay together as a group. I'll be locking the door behind us, so you will enjoy this. All right? Now, I just do this for safety reasons because I don't want people inside the building to walk out behind us without me knowing and potentially getting hurt. So just be aware you cannot come back inside halfway through for any reason other than medical. If you are not interested in this committed tour and you just want to see the crater, I recommend you go out these doors over here. Those will lead to the observation deck, so you can actually see the crater for yourself and then come back inside whenever you like. All right. Are there any questions or concerns about any of that? Okay. All right. If we're all set, let's head outside. You guys want to wait along the ground?
So you heard it. No, I'm talking to the guy. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome.
So you heard that this the gentleman he was talking about, and can you imagine that the impact what happened to that core of our Earth? So, for example, Grand Canyon was carved by millions and million years to build the Grand Canyon. This was split second for massive impact. And that's how it is. So we are walking now towards to the crater, and wow, it's already here. So it's so close and it's so big. I got almost scared. Just a second, let me talk quickly to the gentleman.
So it's a beautiful day at the crater today.
Wow.
Now, Meteor crater is the most preserved impact crater on Earth. There are over 200 confirmed impact craters across the world, but this is in the best condition. There's down to three main reasons, the first being the age of the crater, as 50,000 years is geologically quite young. So it hasn't really had enough time to significantly erode yet. Also, the climate in the region being as dry as it is, there's not a lot of erosion that even occurs out here in the first place. And lastly is the size of the crater, as larger craters take longer to erode as is more of it. So all of the other craters on Earth are either older or smaller than Meteor crater, or have formed in wetter environments, meaning they've eroded more one way or another. Now, if you look at the bottom of the crater, if you can see that black object down there, that's a steam boiler. It was used to power the mining equipment back in the day, and it's been down there for over 100 years. If you look to the right of that, if you can see that white patch in the ground, that's the first mine shaft that was dug. It goes 200 feet straight down, to which point they would reach the water table and can no longer make any more progress. Trust me, they tried. Now, if you can see the fence surrounding that mine shaft down there, if you look on the near side of that fence in the right side corner, you should see like a white object stand alongside it there. Well, that down there is a 6-foot tall astronaut. That's helpful for giving a sense of scale of the crater out here. Now, like I mentioned inside, at least a little briefly, the crater was originally thought to be volcanic in origin. The reason they thought this is due to, well, that mountain in the distance. So that mountain way out there behind you is Mount Humphrey, and it's actually not a mountain at all. It's a dormant stratovolcano. And to the right of it, all those hills that are next to it there, those are all cinder cones, which is also a type of volcano. So we have this volcanic field nearby, and they thought this was a part of it somehow. The biggest problem with this theory is that the nearest volcanic rock to the crater is more than 9 miles away. So there are no volcanic rocks present here whatsoever. So that was a big hole in the theory right there, pun intended. Now the crater was confirmed as being formed by an asteroid in 1963 by Dr. Eugene Shoemaker. Now he was studying bomb craters in Nevada where they were testing nuclear bombs, and he noticed the craters left behind by these tests consistently looked very similar to Meteor crater, albeit at a smaller scale. After seeing this, he decided to come out here, and he's able to confirm that this was formed by an asteroid. Now, this is based on a few key characteristics, which I'll talk more about a little later, But just know, early 60s, the crater here is confirmed as being formed by an asteroid impact. And this is great timing because we're of course right in the middle of the space race. The Apollo program is gearing up, getting ready to head out to the moon. So the Apollo astronauts have come out here to come and train. And they just wanted to test their skills and test their equipment, making sure they're as ready as can be to go to the moon. Now, it's a good thing they did this because one of the trainees actually tore their spacesuit on some rocks in the crater. This trainee was understandably upset by this because they said, if this happened on the moon, I'll be dead. Which, yeah, reasonable. I'd be upset too, and I'm sure you would as well. So this caused a redesign of that suit to become more durable to this kind of damage. And to test it, they'd push the trainee into the crater. No, I'm just kidding. They didn't do that. But I'm sure the engineers who made the suit really wanted to. But the suit did get damaged and it did cause a redesign. So who knows? If the astronauts didn't get the chance to train out here, they still could have made it to the moon, but they could have faced a tragedy while they were there. So thankfully, we never had to find out. And every single person who's been in the moon has been in Meteor Crater. At least as of now, as all the Apollo astronauts have trained out here before they left on their missions. And Artemis astronauts continue to train out here at the crater to this day. So it's still used for space exploration and training. Yeah. You guys have any questions about any of that?
When they do the space training, do they like bring any of, like when they were doing the Apollo program, did they like bring any of the vehicles down here and use them in the crater?
No, they didn't bring the moon buggy out here. They did test like other equipment, not just specific to Apollo. They brought a lunar rover out here that I don't remember ever being sent to the moon, but they brought stuff like that out. But yeah, most of their training was focused along the rim though.
Okay.
As even on the moon, they would avoid hiking into craters of this size because it'd be too difficult, even on the moon. But they did go down occasionally, but just in plain clothing, as they're also out here to learn about craters. So, yeah. Cool. Any other questions? All right. Cool. If we're all set, then let's move on to our next stop.
So can you imagine that big hole with one meteorite? How much speed this meteorite have to have when was an impact? And I will ask him if he can tell us what kind of speed the meteorite have when impact the Earth. Excuse me, sir. Can I ask you a question? Can you tell me and my viewers what speed probably that meteorite have?
Oh yeah.
When it was impact.
It was moving around 9 miles per second. Very, very fast. No slower than 7 miles or 11 kilometers per second. No, it would have been faster than that at least. So yeah, it was moving pretty fast.
Very fast to make it whole like that.
Oh yeah.
Easily. And do you have approximately how big?
It was about 150 feet or 45 meters in diameter.
So it's
about half the length of that RV parking lot over there.
So not very big comparing that.
Not at all. No.
Yeah.
It was moving real fast. It was extremely heavy. It also weighed 300,000 tons, and it's moving out.
Because of this material. It was heavy material.
Oh yes, exactly. It's made of iron and nickel, so it was very dense, for sure.
Thank you very much for walking backwards for me.
Of course.
Thank you. So you did hear that. I'm talking. So you did hear that everything from the expert and our guide person, and he's very, very knowledgeable about. And if you look at it all around, it's flat. So this hole and this rocks and everything, the impact did it. So I'm glad I come on time. And I am right behind you, sir.
Don't worry, making sure no one else is following.
Okay. So the next stop is here, right?
That's it, yeah.
I don't recommend it to go there closer. And you can see the layers of the earth, probably what was before impact.
Cool. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about out here are the rock layers the crater reaches down into, and also how the crater was confirmed as being formed by an asteroid. Now, the deepest layer the crater reaches is the Coconino sandstone. On top of that, we have the Kaibab limestone. And the topmost layer is the Moenkopi sandstone. Now, the Moenkopi is the natural desert floor out here. You guys may have noticed on your way in. All of that red terrain you're seeing alongside the road, that's all Moenkopi. Well, if the Moenkopi is supposed to be the natural desert floor out here, then you might be noticing something interesting right now. We're not surrounded by Moenkopi at the moment. This is all Kaibab limestone. So what gives? Is it supposed to be underground? Well, this is due to a process known as reverse stratigraphy. How it works is the rock layers are originally oriented like this. The asteroid came in, buried itself underground, and then it exploded. The explosion caused all the rocks above it to get thrown up and out over the side, flipping it over. So what was once on the bottom is now on top, and vice versa. You can actually see this for yourself. If you look along the rim over here, you can see this red Moenkopi sandstone layer in between these two layers of Kaibab limestone on either end of it. So this is known as reverse stratigraphy, and it is one of the main characteristics that helped identify the crater, as the same thing happened in Nevada. The nuclear bombs out there are all detonated underground, which caused the same effect to occur. A good way to imagine this is like a splash. The Earth itself literally just splashed like water. Now, the second characteristic that helped identify the crater is the presence of coesite and stishovite. These are two minerals, of course, that require a lot of pressure to form, between 40,000 and 9 million pounds per square inch of pressure, which is a lot. This impact was definitely able to provide it, and it came from the Coconino sandstone here. Now, this rock layer is so deep underground that when the asteroid struck, it came in, it buried itself, and exploded above the Coconino, because it is so deep. So instead of getting ejected up and out like these other layers did, it's getting pushed down and compressed, causing it to experience the immense amount of pressures required to form these minerals, which is what we find within the crater today. The same thing happened in Nevada. The nuclear bombs out there also formed these minerals as well. But what's really noteworthy about this is that prior to Shoemaker's survey of the crater, coesite and stishovite had only been found and formed artificially, so within nuclear test sites and within labs. But here, the crater is the first place they've been found to form naturally. So that was a really big indicator on the true origin of the crater. So the presence of these minerals out here, as well as evidence of reverse stratigraphy, are the two main characteristics that helped identify the crater as being formed by an asteroid impact. Now, this was the very first crater in the world to be identified as such, so this led to a flurry of craters around the world being reclassified as impact craters that we now knew to look for. So because of the role the crater here played in our understanding of all of this, it's often referred to as the Rosetta Stone of astrogeology, at least by some. I'm some. But yes. Do you guys have any questions about any of that? Good. All right. Cool.
So these layers, they are upside down now, or
they just got flipped over. So the Kaibab is kind of where it was before, but part of it got flipped on top of it. So it's upside down is a good way to think about it, though.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Also worth to mention is if you look inside the crater, you may have noticed a big oval shape down there. Well, that oval shape is actually an ancient lake bed. Now, when the crater formed initially, the climate was colder and wetter than it is today. As a result, the water table is higher up, the crater reached into it, so a lake's able to form. This lake would exist in the crater for tens of thousands of years, but as the climate slowly dried and warmed up to become what it is today, this water table would go into drop beneath the crater and the lake would disappear with it. And ever since then, water no longer accumulates in the crater. The crater floor is far too porous for water, so even during our monsoon season, which is right now, not even a puddle forms down there. So it doesn't fill up with water today, but it did once in the past. And this is a pretty cool thing to bring up about craters though, when they do form on Earth, is well, they do lead to a lot of devastation upon their formation, as you can imagine, but they can also create brand new habitats for life to inhabit, as this lake had aquatic life living in it. So you know, life finds a way. It really does. But yeah, do you guys have questions about that though? Good, all right. Cool, well if we're all set, let's take a moment now to get some pictures in. is the best place to do it. And if you want, I'll be happy to get a picture of you with the crater behind you. And also feel free to ask questions in the meantime if you have any. But yeah, let's go ahead and get some pictures.
I have one question.
Yeah.
We are very close to Sedona, Arizona, right?
We are in Arizona.
No, Sedona, Arizona.
Oh, Sedona.
Yeah, and it's they have any impact or anything?
Not at all.
No, not at all.
And no relation at all.
No relation at all.
The red rocks in Sedona are a completely different
Different
rock layer to
than
the
here.
Mount Kopi out here.
Because he was talking about the water was going down, and over there you can see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this did not even go, like, when this asteroid struck, it didn't bury itself anywhere close to the depth that Sedona is found at. Because Sedona is like 3,000 feet lower, in
Lower
elevation
than here.
us.
Than,
So yeah, Sedona is completely separated from anything that happened out here.
what elevation are we? Right
We're
now?
about 5,600 feet, I believe.
Almost 7
Yeah.
times.
We're a little over a mile above sea level here. I forget what Sedona's is. I think Sedona's around 4,000 feet, though. I'm not sure.
4 or 5. Sorry, I was there just
Yeah, it's
prior to
around
this. I was there.
Yeah, so it's got nothing to do with it, but it's a good question.
Thank
Of
you,
course, absolutely. Hayden.
Hayden.
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Hayden. Thank you
You as
very
well.
much for very knowledgeable
Thank you.
information to us.
Oh, of course, yeah. I recommend right here